Hello, everybody. I'm Father Casey. This being Holy Saturday, we enter into the silence of the tomb. And silence is something that is so needed in our lives because we live in a culture that is filled with hustle and bustle and noise and machines and computers and cell phones and music and sirens, and it's so hard to find silence. But silence is so needed in our lives for our spirit. It's a time in which we can listen to what God is saying to us. And so as we enter this Holy Saturday, the conclusion of the Triduum, we enter the silence of the tomb as we await the glory of the resurrection, which takes place Saturday night at the Easter Vigil. The Easter Vigil has been happening for over 2,000 years. As we have celebrated those men and women who are becoming Christians, who are being baptized into the faith and confirmed and receiving the Holy Eucharist for the first time. It is, in my opinion, the greatest celebration throughout the liturgical year. It is a long one, I understand. And a lot of people stay away from it for that reason. But that shouldn't be, because it is one of, if not the most beautiful liturgies that we have in our church. And it begins in darkness and with a holy fire being lit. And the brand new Paschal candle, the candle that represents the light of Christ shining in the darkness of the world, being lit for the first time. And with a procession to the church, where in the darkness, all the men and women are holding their candles because they've received the light of Christ. And we sing the beautiful Exultet. And if your parish is lucky enough to have men and women coming into the faith, being baptized, receiving the sacraments for the first time, then it is a glorious time for the church. And I can tell you this, that all throughout the world, there are men and women that will be baptized, confirmed, and receive the Eucharist for the first time at the Easter Vigil, all throughout the world. And that's such a thing of hope, because there are so many in this world that would love to see the church closed down, and they would shout it down, and they would love to see the church destroyed. But as we celebrate the Easter Vigil and watch men and women being baptized and receiving confirmation in Holy Eucharist, we realize that the church is alive and well. And that's so beautiful. And then there are 3 members of my parish, Epiphany of Our Lord, that will be receiving the sacraments for the first time. And it's been glorious working with them throughout this past year, teaching them, answering questions, and just experience them on their faith journey. And that's what I love most about the Easter Vigil, because it's adults that have, through a journey of faith, have come to the conclusion that they want to be Christians, that they want to follow Christ with their hearts and with their lives. And I think that's so amazing, because myself, like so many people who are born into the Catholic faith, into a family that already celebrates the Catholic faith, we're baptized as babies. And I don't have much memory of that. And I learned the faith like so many people. I went to catechism class, and I didn't go to Catholic school when I went to public school, but I came from a family of faith. And so faith was a part of my life from when I was born. But the person who comes into the church at the Easter Vigil, they have made this conscious decision to become a Catholic Christian. And I think that is so beautiful, because they've had to, in this culture, struggle with what the church teaches, what Jesus teaches. And they've said yes. And I think that is so glorious, because there's so many people like myself that are cradle Catholics, as we call them, who would like to walk away from the church for various reasons. And yet there are so many men and women throughout the world that this evening will say, yes, I want to follow Christ. And I want to follow Christ in the church that he built upon his disciple Peter. And so I must celebrate that. But it's a good time for you and I to reflect upon our own journey of faith. Where are we on that journey? Have we claimed our faith as adults? Have we said consciously that this is what I believe? I am proud to profess it because it is mine. It is mine to profess. It's not because my mommy told me to. It's not because sister so-and-so said I should do it. It's not because anybody or anything is putting pressure on me and forcing me to become a Christian. I am a Christian because I want to be. I'm a Catholic because I want to be. And I believe with all my heart. I may stumble along the way, but this is a choice that I have made. This is a choice that I own, and I am not ashamed of it. That's what makes the Easter Vigil such a beautiful liturgy and why it is celebrated in such a glorious fashion. Because it gives me hope. Hope for the future of the church, hope for the future of my parish. It's just a reminder of what Jesus told his disciples. Heaven and earth may pass away, but my words will not pass away. And the faith will not pass away. And hope is what we celebrate in the resurrection. And we see that constantly happening in the rebirth of the church through baptism. Because we celebrate Jesus being raised from the dead. And that made him different than all the other teachers and famous people that had gone before him, like Buddha or Muhammad, or you name it. They lived, they taught, but they died, and they stayed dead. And we can go visit their graves today. But we cannot visit the grave of Jesus because it's not there. We will not find the grave of Jesus because he is raised from the dead. Because that's what we celebrate the most. That's what makes us different than other religions. That we have a teacher that not only died, but was raised from the dead, who lives. Because if Jesus is not raised from the dead, if the tomb is not empty, then everything that we do as Christians, everything we do as Catholics, is meaningless. That we are hopeless in our faith. And then St. Paul tells us that. Our faith is meaningless if the resurrection never happened. But knowing that 11 out of the 12 apostles died horrible deaths, believing in the resurrection, because that is the first gospel message proclaimed. That we don't just believe in a teacher, a master, a rabbi, the Messiah, we believe in him who rose from the dead. And that means that you and I, who follow Jesus, who love him, and who struggle to love our brothers and sisters every day and follow our faith, that we will live with him. That when the day comes and Jesus separates the sheep from the goats, we will be on his left because we will be sheep. We have followed him, and we will not remain with the dead. We will remain with the living, and we will be welcomed home to be with our Lord and all of our loved ones who have gone before us, marked with the sign of faith. May you have a glorious Easter Sunday. May the Lenten experience have been fruitful for you. May you have found a deeper relationship with Jesus in the time of the Holy Trinity. God bless you. And until next time, pray for me. I will pray for you.